Part 39, Golden Hemp Growing and Waterwheel Problem. The next afternoon, when he received a message from the Dark Guard, that Yi Yang had left Yi Mansion in the morning, and then went straight to the suburbs and went to the countryside, was a little short of breath. He was still confused about why Yi Yang returned to Yi Mansion. Now he knew that Yi Yang wanted to take this opportunity to escape from the palace. Thinking that Yi Yang was going to abandon him and run away, he panicked a little. And he wondered if he was afraid of losing such a smart person, or was it for other reasons. But for whatever reason, he couldn't let Yi Yang leave his side. He immediately left the court affairs and put on plain clothes and went out of the palace. On a quiet sheep gut path, Yi Yang ruthlessly swept across the grass on the side of the road with a branch in his hand, causing the grass on the road to break in the middle, which is pitiful. Young master, let's go back to the palace. If the emperor knew that we left the holy city privately, we would be killed. Xiao Doubting, who was behind him, was so frightened that Yi Yang was having such a good time. He was so scared that he was sweating coldly. If the emperor knew that they had left the holy city, they would definitely lose their head. You must know that without the permission of the emperor, concubines cannot leave the holy city without permission. The emperor doesn't have clairvoyance. How could he know that we have left the holy city? As long as you don't say it, I don't say it, no one will know that we have left the holy city. Yi Yang turned around. Seeing Xiao Doubting's scared face, he patted on his shoulder and comforted, "Don't worry, I will definitely go back before the city gate closes." "But young master, there's nothing to play in this countryside, let's go back." Xiao Doubting looked at the holy city behind. A moment his face was worried. He was really afraid that Yi Yang would go too far and would not be able to return to the palace before the city gate closed. "Play?" Yi Yang burst out laughing. He didn't come out to play, but to see the crops of this dynasty. Since the original owner lived in a boudoir house since he was a child, although he lived a poor life, he never cultivated land. So the original owner did not distinguish between the 5 grains, which also caused Yi Yang to wonder what the people of this dynasty had as their staple food. Although there is rice, he knows that it is the food of the rich, and it must be a luxury for the common people. If the people of this dynasty were mainly based on wheat, he could teach the people of this dynasty to hybridize wheat to increase the yield of wheat per mu. He had learned about hybrid wheat from his parents when he was a child. And hybrid wheat was relatively simple, so he wanted to use what he knew to help more people. The farther you go, the wider the front is. When you go around a mountain, you suddenly see a bright light in front of you. What catches the eye is a basin, surrounded by mountains, hundreds of houses at the foot of the mountain, and thousands of people working in their own fields. The scene is spectacular and shocking. The children's laughter and slapstick sounded up and down each other, causing the adults to shout and scold. So it was very lively. "Urguzi, if you run around again, I'll break your dog's legs." A man finally couldn't bear it any longer, and yelled at the 6 or 7-year-old children who were running around. The little boy who was running around was deterred by the scolding. He paused, shrank his neck and went back to his own field. He picked up the hoe and started loosening the soil. But this didn't last long. When the man was hoeing the ground seriously, the little boy was again attracted by a small insect. He dropped his hoe and squatted down and played with the small insect. He is not alone. Other young children are just like him. After working for a while, they will be attracted by other small insects, and then they will drop the work in their hands and play. This also led to the ups and downs of shouting and scolding throughout the basin. Especially a little boy named Sandon. He looked at Yi Yang, who was standing on the path. Seeing that Yi Yang was wearing fancy clothes, fair skin and handsome appearance, he knew that the other party was a rich young master. He opened a pair of big round eyes and stared at Yi Yang enviously. What are you looking at? You haven't worked yet? A rough man stepped forward and slapped Sandon on the back of the head, causing Sandon to cry out in pain. These rich people are really sick. And they like to come and see us at work when they have nothing to do. The rough man gave Yi Yang a blank look and took Sandon to continue to work. Young master, let's go back. Xiao Doubting was always worried that their itinerary would be known to the emperor, so he anxiously persuaded Yi Yang to go back quickly. Wait a minute. Let me see what they are planting. Yi Yang had already noticed the seeds in the hands of a few farmers not far away. The seeds were very small and completely different from wheat seeds. Xiao Doubting looked over, saw the seeds in the farmer's hands, and explained, Young master. This is the seed of golden hemp. The seeds of golden hemp. Yi Yang was somewhat impressed by golden hemp. This golden hemp is similar to the silkworms of his time. Although one is a plant and the other is an animal, the silk they produce can be made into silk, which is one of the favorite fabrics of the rich. Yi Yang didn't know why this golden hemp would produce silk like baby silkworms. After all, he was not a botanist, so he didn't know it was normal. He and Xiao Doubting continued to walk. But he found that these farmers were all growing golden hemp, and no one was growing grain. Why are you growing golden hemp? Yi Yang was puzzled. Although growing golden hemp can make money, he still needs to grow some food to feed his stomach. You don't know about this, young master. You can sell golden hemp to cloth dress. And then use the money you earn to buy food. Xiao Doubting explained behind him. Of course, Yi Yang knew this, but he was worried about another thing. I must be thinking too much. He shook his head, suppressed the thoughts in his heart, and was just about to move forward, but the farmer who was plowing in the field couldn't stand it any longer, and sneered, It's really stupid to read. You don't know such a simple truth, and you still ask a child to remind you. Bold, who allowed you to say this? Seeing the farmer mocking his young master, Xiao Doubting immediately shouted and scolded, but before he could finish speaking, he was interrupted by Yi Yang. Forget it, Xiao Doubting. Don't care about him. Seeing that Yi Yang didn't care about it, the farmer felt bored. This young master, are you out for an outing? A 15 or 16-year-old boy asked with big dark eyes. Yes. Seeing that the young man was good to talk, Yi Yang stepped forward and asked, Why do you all grow golden hemp? Although golden hemp can be sold for money, why don't you have to grow some food crops? If you don't grow golden hemp, you will have some food to satisfy your stomach. In the past, his mother often warned him that he had to grow enough food for a year, otherwise he would starve to death in an emergency. Especially when the soybean war between their country and the beautiful country was completely defeated. If it wasn't for the backing foods of the country at that time, I don't know how many people would starve to death. Young master, you don't know. The richest man Luo family said that they want to buy a lot of golden hemp. So we want to take advantage of this rare opportunity to make more money feel good. Luo's family? Yi Yang's heart sank. Why did the Luo family suddenly come out? For some reason, he always felt that something was wrong. Young master, you don't know, this golden hemp is only the best silk planted in our Holy Dynasty. The cloth woven is not only delicate but also soft. And it is very popular among the elites of various countries. Xiao Doubting explained. Their Holy Dynasty sells a lot of golden silk cloth to neighboring countries every year. Especially the Huangyu Dynasty, which is the country that buys the most of all countries. Yi Yang nodded, expressing his understanding. He looked into the distance and asked the young man, Do all of you grow golden hemp? It should be the same. After all, the price of golden hemp is high, and everyone doesn't want to miss this opportunity to make money. Oh, by the way, I heard from my cousin yesterday that he said that all the people in their town are also growing golden hemp. The teenager felt that this was no secret, so he shared it with Yi Yang. Yeah, Yi Yang nodded, indicating that he understood. He saw that many people in the field were carrying water to irrigate the land far away, and asked curiously, "Why do you run so far to carry water?" He glanced at it, and there was a river not far away. The water is effortless, but it is far from the river, and it may take half an hour to go back and forth. This young master, you really can't listen anymore. Stupid has to have a bottom line, right? A young man not far away couldn't listen anymore and was mocked. Brother Niu, don't talk nonsense. The young man reminded in a low voice that Niu would offend Yi Yang. I'm telling the truth. This discerning person can tell at a glance that we are carrying water for irrigation. Niu really convinced Yi Yang. Seeing that Niu misunderstood his words, Yi Yang quickly explained, "You have misunderstood. I just want to ask you why you don't make a water wheel. Isn't it more convenient to irrigate the land this way? It doesn't cost much to make a water wheel, and there are so many people in this village. Each family put together some money to make a water wheel. Isn't it convenient for the whole village?" Water wheel? What is it? The boy looked blank. Niu also looked dazed. Fuck. No water wheel yet? Yi Yang was also stunned. He was really dumbfounded. In a dynasty that even had iron tools, there was no water wheel yet. Who would believe it? He walked along the path until he reached the water source, and looking at the wide river surging in front of him, he had already drawn a model of a water wheel in his mind. This young master. What was the water wheel you said just now? The boy followed and asked curiously. He heard Yi Yang talking about water wheels just now, so there should be some places where water wheels are used. And this water wheel is a good thing, so he had the cheek to ask about it because he didn't want to miss it. It's a good thing for irrigation. When the time comes, I will let you make a water wheel and send it to you, so that you can see how good a water wheel is. As Yi Yang, who has lived in the countryside since he was a child, he sincerely hopes to help peasant friends. Young master, are you serious? The boy looked surprised. Who is my young master? He naturally speaks seriously. Xiao Doubting looked proud. Look. My young master is amazing, and thinks of good things again. Although he didn't know what a water wheel was, he firmly believed that as long as his young master made a move, it would be a good thing that shocked the world. Young master, you are such a nice person. How dare you ask the young master what your name is? Yi Yang. Yi Yang said his name casually. He looked at the boy and asked, "Why do you believe what I said is true?" And the boy is smart enough, so after talking about a water wheel, the young man chased after him and asked, "If ordinary people hear something they haven't heard before, they won't be able to arouse any curiosity at all." The young man replied with a serious face. Young master just said why we don't use water wheels to irrigate the land. Then there must be some places that use this water wheel to irrigate the land. Although I don't know how this water wheel irrigates the land, and I can't imagine it, but the young master just now, if you say that, then you will definitely be able to irrigate the land. You little doll is smart. Yi Yang couldn't help but praise. What's so smart, if you don't do the right thing all day? You know that you're going to be fantastic. A woman in her 20s stepped forward with a dissatisfied face, and she scolded the young man with her hands on her hips. Jin Yuxian. The old lady's harsh words are put ahead. That one, if you don't finish hoeing today, don't even think about having dinner. The young man called Jin Yuxian shivered, and he whispered to Yi Yang with a look of fear, "This is my sister, a real tigress." Yi Yang glanced at the woman. Ugly, very ordinary, and somewhat similar to a teenager. It seems that they are brothers and sisters.